I don't know.
That bell doesn't get rung too often.
No, it don't.
Well, it starts back in 1852 when a bunch of poor Germans came from part of the Austrian Empire, Bohemia here, and there weren't any churches nearby. The nearest one would have been in Watertown, about a dozen miles away, which was, of course, Irish, which is not a language they could speak. And in around 1862, they built their own small church here. And so it served the community, and they was a church here till sometime in the 1890s. By this point, they had built a church in Waterloo, which is more centralized, so it didn't make sense to have this church and another church 4.5 miles away. So this was closed, deconsecrated, and basically they locked the door. And so this was in effect a grandma's attic, and people finally got to get into it years later. Apparently the first time it was open was in 1959 for the Waterloo Centennial. And then there was a wedding in here that I know of in the mid-70s. And then sometime around then was when Old World, Wisconsin was interested in obtaining this building and moving it to the site of Old World, Wisconsin. Local people didn't want to move their church, so they organized a corporation and purchased the church from the Madison diocese. I've never seen anything else like this. The other churches that I'm aware of, what they did is when they closed the church, they simply emptied it. And so everything would go. And here apparently there were only a few items taken. Everything else was left. I don't understand why, other than, was it again, community devotion. They wanted their church. And the same thing that happened when Old World, Wisconsin wanted it. It was like, no, this is our church, we're going to keep it. And so there's all these original furnishings here and original objects of worship connected with Holy Mass and Stations of the Cross. And this is not the way it was done. Churches were deconsecrated, empty, and normally the building sold.